What's going on YouTube? LTH coming at you with a video. 713 Space City, we up in the building. Well, well. It was unfortunate that the Texans fell by a score of 14-9 in the game in which what almost everyone thought it would be an offensive fireworks. But today, this game consisted of defense. The Texans were held to 3 field goals, couldn't score a touchdown. And I gotta say, if there's anything I learned about this game as a fan, hell, any given game, you gotta score points to win games, but also you can't just always rely on the defense, to bail you out every occasion, especially when giving the offense every opportunity to score points when it matters most. Since the Texans were eventually shut out in the second half by that Rams defense. Gotta credit to them. The Rams defense, they did their thing. Including that punch out late in the game by a landman, and Fisk secured the fumble. And I gotta say, Agumawale, just gotta secure the ball a little bit better, knowing that the defender wasn't going for the tackle, but he just straight out punched that football out like a boxing bag or something. But goes to show, man, that as good as the defense is, I cannot stand to rely on the defense almost every game. Giving them chances to win, and they blow it. They eventually blow it. The first half, especially in the first half when they had their share of opportunities to put points on the board, couldn't do it. And the penalties, 11 penalties this game, including pre-snap, definitely gotta clean those up, man, because there were times that they were pretty undisciplined on offense and defense. Gotta find a way to clean those penalties up for sure. And if I could think of one Achilles heel for the Texans today, Puka Nacua, the penalties and the offense. I mean, yeah, I get it. Nick Caley, it's his first game as the Texans OC, but there were times that the play caller was pretty conservative, knowing that they had to be aggressive. If they hope to spread the ball around, to keep the opposing defense guessing. I mean, I gotta say the Texans did get 3 sacks and a forced turnover, but they lost the turnover battle today. They lost the turnover battle. Memory serves me right. The Texans did get 3 sacks as a team. Yeah, 3 sacks, and Stroud was picked off. Of course, Higgins got to hold on to that ball. Had the ball and it fell right into the hands of Durant. Got to hold on to the ball. And yeah, I get it, Christian Kirk and Braxton Berrios was out today, but it still doesn't excuse why Nico couldn't show up today when they needed him. Yeah, I get it. Stroud had his moments when he held on to the ball a little too long, and gotta get rid of the football faster, if you hope to avoid being sacked, 10 plus yards. Either throw it away or throw it away at the least, because can't be taking, sacks like that. Always live to play another down. I mean, yeah, it can still be better than, recklessly giving the ball away, but gotta get rid of the rock. So, Nick Chubb was the leading receiver. Jaden Higgins was the leading receiver today. Could have had more had he held on to the ball. And Nico had just 3 catches for 25 yards. Yeah, they made plays, but some of the plays were called back due to boneheaded penalties, you know, and can't be committing those dumb penalties and expect to sustain drives. But at the end of the day, gotta credit the Rams defense, for doing their thing. And also credit Matthew Stafford for reaching the 60,000 yard passing yard mark milestone. Hats off to him. And, gotta give credit to Puka Nacua, did his thing out there, gave the Texans defense fits. And I say Puka Nacua was the Texans' biggest Achilles heel on their gridiron. So To'o had him a sack. Will Anderson and Foley Fatukasi each got a sack. So yeah, they did force a turnover, but lost the turnover battle. So yeah. Not how I want to kick off 2025, but I'm not too mad though. I was just disappointed, just pretty disappointed. But, week 2, Monday Night Football, all I'm saying is bounce back and handle business because Tampa is coming to town a week from tomorrow night. And yeah, Tampa pretty much got some talented receivers as well. So secondary's gotta be a little bit more disciplined. So hell, the whole team at that. But till next video, LTH checking on the body here, 713 the Space City.